This question obviously testing grammar, and it's testing a rule that is a good example of a rule that everyone learns that just isn't really true. It's a rule involving the concept of an appositive. We've definitely done stuff like this before where we have like a description of something and we kind of use commas to separate out the description from the thing itself. So I'm just going to start off by saying choice C is a trap. It is not the right answer, but it is the one that most of you are likely to pick because it looks like a rule that you think is a rule, okay? But we don't always need those commas. It depends on how the sentence is constructed. So let's take a look at this one. In this case, the thing that we're kind of describing is just part of the description. It's kind of just like a one flowing idea. There's no interruption in the thought. It's all just part of it. So let's see. I'm going to start right here. Recently, engineer Erkka Frankberg of Tampere University in Finland used the chemical compound aluminum oxide to make a glassy solid that can withstand higher strain than silicate glass can before fracturing. The aluminum oxide part is what we're talking about. It is not an extra description of what we're talking about. It is the thing itself. So removing it from the sentence using commas like in choice C would kind of ruin the sentence, right? Think about it without it. It would say Frankberg used the chemical compound to make a glassy solid that can withstand higher strain. Well, we need the compound. We're talking about what it is. So we don't need any commas at all, okay? This is maybe the opposite of what you thought was going to happen, but this is very common, and I'm noticing this new SAT is testing this rule a lot. The old SAT did it as well, where they kind of messed with you a little bit. They knew that there was a rule that you kind of thought you knew, and they're giving you an example that kind of defies your expectations. Now, we could rewrite this sentence a little bit so that we did need the commas. I would say if we said something like, Frankberg used, how about something like a new chemical compound, comma, aluminum oxide to make a glassy solid. In that case, I would use the commas because the focus of the sentence has kind of shifted to the fact that it's a new chemical compound, and now aluminum oxide is maybe just helping out understanding what we're talking about. It is no longer the focus. It has now kind of become extra. And if I did remove that from the sentence, I'd still have a pretty robust idea here. Frankberg used a new chemical compound to make a glassy solid. Now, for many of you, this kind of difference is going to seem so minor that you're not going to really get it. And I think that honestly the best solution is just practice, because they do test this rule a lot, so you're going to see lots of cases of it. And so far, in most cases, it actually ends up being that we don't use commas, because I think what they're doing here is they know that you want to put commas. So they're designing the question with the trap in mind, not with the rule in mind, right? They're trying to get you, not trying to teach you. Now, in the sentence itself, we actually have another case where this often comes up, and maybe you noticed it. If we look here, recently, engineer Erkka Frankberg, right? Many of you would put some commas after engineer and Frankberg and separate her name out. But again, this wouldn't make sense. Engineer of Tampere University in Finland, or even if it just said recently, engineer used the chemical compound, right? It doesn't make sense if we don't list her name. And so that's why the commas don't work, because the commas are telling us this would be an extra piece of information that we don't need. So you can test this rule a lot by taking the piece that they want to put in commas, removing it from the sentence, reading the sentence without it, and seeing how it sounds. But in both of these cases, the part at the beginning, engineer or chemical compound, this really is just kind of part of the name of the thing. It is not any extra. The name itself is not extra. It's kind of like when you say, my Uncle Bob likes to grill. Okay? Uncle is part of his name. It's not like on his birth certificate, but it's part of the way that we think of him. It is his essence. It is a piece of him as we are talking about him. And so what we're doing here is the same thing. Engineer or chemical compound, the way these sentences are set up, those pieces are functioning like the word uncle. They are part of the essence of the thing. They are more like adjectives than like nouns. And so what we want is to keep them there without any commas, to let the actual noun do the work. Urca Frankberg or aluminum oxide. Those cannot be removed from the sentence. They are essential. This is a lot. This is a tricky concept, but hopefully now that I've talked about it, you'll start to see it everywhere and you'll notice how they're trying to mess with you.